Srila Prabhupada and our friends who are married. You're welcome to stay if you like. If you want to go and get some Mahabharata, that's also fine. We sit in a circle when we do this, so if you want to sit in a circle.
Krishna, 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 Rakshama, Krishna, 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 Rakshama, Krishna, 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 Pahimam, Krishna, 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 Pahimam, Rama, Raghava, Rama, Raghava, Rama, Rama, Rakshama, Rama, Raghava, Rama, Raghava, Rama, Raghava, Rakshama, Krishna, Keshava, Krishna, Keshava, Krishna, Keshava, Pahimam, Krishna, Keshava, Krishna, Keshava, Krishna, Keshava, Pahimam, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayo Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Welcome everybody to the reading of the Krishna book. So nice to see so many people. It's really inspiring. And we are reading from the chapter called
The Kidnapping of Subhadra,
page number.
786.
She's the official keeper. 86. Feeling very much obliged. Oh, at the bottom, my dear Lord. Okay. So, where are we? Oh, we just had Subhadra, the sister of Krishna, being kidnapped by Arjuna. And what was the special feature? That she actually liked him, so she took the reins of the car. And when Balaram found out that his sister was kidnapped by Arjuna, he was like, let's go after him. And many people were gearing up to go after him. And then Krishna came, oh yeah, but did you see that she had the reins in his hand? Oh, she likes him. Okay, thing changed. And then we are somewhere there now. My dear Lord, you are the super soul of all living entities, and as the witness within the heart, you are cognizant of everyone's activities. Thus we are duty-bound to always think of your lotus feet, so that we can remain in a secure position and not deviate from your eternal service. So then after doing that, then Krishna went to visit two kings, is that correct? Are we there now? Or is that still... Where? Who is making these prayers?
Last paragraph, 786.
Yeah, but who's praying? Bahulasva, the king Bahulasva. Ah, okay. Because the chapter is called The Kidnapping of Subhadra, and Lord Krishna is visiting Shrutadev and Bahulasva. So what is that? There was a famous king, and his name was Bahulashva, and there was a brahmana called Shrutadev, and they lived in the same kingdom, and because they were so pious, Krishna went to visit them. So these prayers are actually from Bahulashva or Shrutadev.
I understand Bahulashva.
He went to Bangladesh first.
Bahulashva, he went at the same time, but the description of Bahulashva was first. So that was one of the magic things that Krishna did. And the brahmana and the king were visited at the same time, and with him came all the sages. And both of them were thinking, oh, he came to visit me. That's such a nice thing, you know? So my dear Lord, you are the super soul of all living entities and the witnesses within the heart. You are cognizant of everyone's activities. Thus, we are duty-bound to always think of your lotus feet, so that we can remain in a secure position and not deviate from your eternal service. As a result of our continuous remembrance of your lotus feet, you have kindly visited my place personally to favor me with your causeless mercy. We have heard, my dear Lord, that by your various statements you confirm your pure devotees to be more dear to you than Lord Balaram or your constant servitors of the goddess of fortune. Your devotees are dearer to you than your first son, Lord Brahma, and I'm sure that you have so kindly visited my place in order to prove your divine statement. I cannot imagine how people can be godless and demoniac even after knowing of your causeless mercy and affection for your devotees, who are constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness. How can people who know of these things forget your lotus feet? It's a good question, eh? So, you like to read?
My dear Lord, it is known to us that you are so kind and liberal that when a person leaves everything just to engage in Krishna's consciousness, you sometimes give yourself in exchange for that unalloyed service. You have appeared in the Yadu dynasty to fulfill your mission of reclaiming all conditioned soul rotting in its sinful activities of material existence, and this appearance is already famous all over the world. My dear Lord, you are the ocean of unlimited mercy, love and affection. Your transcendental form is full of bliss, knowledge and eternity. You can attract everyone's heart by your beautiful form as Shyam Sundar Krishna. Your knowledge is unlimited, and to teach all people how to execute devotional service, you have sent your incarnation Narayan, who is engaged in severe austerities and penances at Badrinarayana. Kindly, therefore, accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet. My dear Lord, I beg to request you and your companions, that great sages and brahmanas, to remain at my place at least for a few days, so that this family of the famous King Nimi may be sanctified by the dust of your lotus feet. Lord Krishna could not refuse the request of his devotee, and thus he remained there for a few days with the sages to sanctify the city of Mithila and all its citizens. Shall we follow?
Meanwhile, the Brahmin Shrutadev, simultaneously receiving Lord Krishna and his associates at his home, was transcendently overwhelmed with joy. After offering his guests nice sitting places, the Brahmin began to dance, waving around his wrap. Shrutadev, being not at all rich, offered only mattresses, wooden planks, straw carpets, and so on to his distinguished guests. Lord Krishna and the sages, but he welcomed them to the best of his ability. He spoke very highly of the Lord and the sages, and he and his wife washed the feet of each one of them. After this, he took the water and sprinkled it all over the members of his family. And although the Brahmin appeared very poor, he was at that time most fortunate. While Shrutadev was welcoming Lord Krishna and his associates, he simply forgot himself in transcendental joy. After welcoming the Lord and his companions according to his ability, he brought fruits, incense, scented water, scented clay, tulsi leaves, goose straw, and lotus flowers. They were not costly items and could be secured very easily, but because they were offered with devotional love, Lord Krishna and his associates accepted them gladly. The Brahmin's wife cooked simple foods like rice and dal, and Lord Krishna and his followers were very much pleased to accept them because they were offered in devotional love. When Lord Krishna and his associates were fed in this way, the Brahmin Shrutadev was thinking thus: I have fallen into the deep, dark well of householder life and am the most unfortunate person. How has it become possible that Lord Krishna, who is the supreme personality of Godhead, and his associates, the great sages, whose very presence makes a place as sanctified as a pilgrimage site, have agreed to come to my place? While the Brahmin was thinking in this way, the guests finished their lunch and sat back very comfortably. At that time, the Brahmin Shrudev and his wife, children, and other relatives appeared there to render service to the distinguished guests. While touching the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, the Brahmin began to speak.
My dear Lord Krishna, he said, you are the Supreme Person, Purushottama, transcendently situated beyond the manifested and unmanifested material creation. The activities of this material world and of the conditional souls have nothing to do with your position. We can appreciate that not only today have you given me the audience, but you are associating with all the living entities as Paramatma since the beginning of creation.
The statement by the Brahma.
Yeah. Varma, the statement by the Brahma is very instructive. It is fact that the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead in his Paramatma feature, enters the creation of this material world as Mahavishnu, Garbhodaya Kasya, Vishnu and Sirodakshvi Vishnu. And in very friendly attitude, the Lord sits along with the conditioned soul in the body. Therefore, every living entity has the Lord with him from very beginning. But due to his mistaken consciousness of life, the living entity cannot understand this. When his consciousness, however, is changed into Krishna consciousness, he can immediately understand how Krishna is trying to assist his conditioned soul to get out of material entanglement.
That's not so easy English.
Shrutadeva continued, My dear Lord, you have entered this material world as if sleeping. A conditioned soul, while sleeping, creates false or temporary worlds in his mind. He becomes busy in many illusory activities, sometimes becoming a king, sometimes being murdered, or sometimes going to an unknown city. And all these are simply temporary affairs. Similarly, your Lordship, apparently also in a sleeping condition, enters this material world to create a temporary manifestation, not for your personal necessities, but for the conditioned soul who wants to imitate your Lordship as enjoyer. The conditioned soul's enjoyment in the material world is temporary and illusory, and yet the conditioned soul is by himself unable to create such a temporary situation for his illusory enjoyment. To fulfill his desires, although they are temporary and illusory, you enter this temporary manifestation to help him. Thus, from the beginning of the conditioned soul's entering into the material world, you are his constant companion. When therefore the conditioned soul comes in contact with a pure devotee and takes to a devotional service, beginning with the process of hearing your transcendental pastimes, glorifying your transcendental activities, worshipping your eternal form in the temple, offering prayers to you and engaging in discussion to understand your transcendental position, he gradually becomes freed from the continuation of material existence. And as his heart becomes cleansed of all material dust, you gradually become visible there. Although you are constantly with the conditioned soul, only when he becomes purified by devotional service do you become revealed to him. Others, who are bewildered by fruitive activities, either by Vedic injunction or by customary dealings, and who do not take to devotional service, are captivated by the eternal happiness of the bodily concept of life. You are not revealed to such persons. Rather, you remain far, far away from them. But for one who engages in your devotional service and purifies his heart by constant chanting of your holy name, you are very easily understood as his eternal constant companion.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. En het wordt steeds leuker als je chant. En het becomes nicer and nicer if you chant.
Hare
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It is said that your lordship sitting in the heart of a devotee gives him direction by which he can quickly come back to you. This direct dictation by you reveals your existence within the heart of the devotee. Only a devotee can immediately appreciate your existence within his or hearts, where he's for a person who has only a bodily concept of life and is engaged in sense gratification. You always remain covered by the curtain of Yoga Maya. Such a person cannot realize that you are very near, sitting within his heart. For a non-devotee, you are appreciated only as unlimited death. The difference ultimate. The difference is like the difference between a cat carrying its kitten in its mouth and carrying a rat in its mouth. In the mouth of the cat, the rat feels its death, whereas the kittens in the mouth of the cat feel motherly affection. Similarly, you are present to everyone, but the non-devotee feels you as ultimate cruel death. Whereas you're a devotee, you are supreme instructor and philosopher. The atheist therefore understands the presence of God as death. But the devotee understands the presence of God always within his heart, takes dictation from you and lives transcendentally, unaffected by the contamination of the material world.
You are the supreme controller and superintendent of the material nature's activities. The atheist class of men simply observe the activities of material nature, but cannot find you as the original background. A devotee, however, can immediately see your hand in every movement of material nature. The curtain of Yoga Maya cannot cover the eyes of the devotees of your lordship, but it can cover the eyes of the non-devotee. The non-devotee is unable to see you face to face, just as a person whose eyes are blocked by the covering of a cloud cannot see the sun. Although persons flying above the cloud can see the sunshine brilliantly as it is. My dear Lord, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. My dear self-effulgent Lord, I am your eternal servitor. Therefore, kindly order me. What can I do for you? The conditioned souls feel the pangs of material contamination as the threefold miseries. As long as you are not visible to him, And as soon as you are visible by development of Krishna's consciousness, all miseries of material existence are simultaneously vanquished.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is naturally very much affectionately inclined to his devotees. When he heard Shrudadeva's prayers of pure devotion, he was very much pleased and immediately caught his hands and addressed him thus: "My dear Shrutadeva, all these great sages, Brahmanas and saintly persons have Shrutadeva been very kind to you by personally coming here to see you. You should consider this opportunity to be a great fortune for you. They should consider they are so kind that they are traveling with me. And wherever they go, they immediately make the whole atmosphere as pure as transcendence simply by the touch of the dust of their feet. People are accustomed to go to the temples of God. They also visit holy places of pilgrimage, and after prolonged association with such activities for many days by touch and by worship, they gradually become purified. But the influence of great sages and saintly persons is so great that by seeing them one immediately becomes completely purified.
Bravo. Moreover, the very purifying potency of pilgrimage or worship of different demigods is also achieved by the grace of saintly persons. A pilgrimage site becomes a holy place because of the presence of the saintly persons. My dear Shrutadeva, when a person is born as a Brahman, he immediately becomes the best of all human beings. And if such a Brahman, remaining self-satisfied, practice austerities, studies the Vedas, and engages in my devotional service, as is the duty of the Brahman, or in other words, if a Brahman become a Vaishnava, how wonderful is his greatness. My feature of four-handed Narayana is not so pleasing or dear to me as is a Brahman Vaishnava. Brahman means one well conversant with Vedic knowledge. A Brahman is the insignia of perfect knowledge, and I am the full-fledged manifestation of all gods. Less intelligent men do not understand me, nor do they understand the influence of the Brahman Vaishnava. They are influenced by the three modes of material nature, and thus dare to criticize me and my pure devotees. A Brahman Vaishnava or a devotee already on the Brahmanical platform can realize me within his heart, and therefore he definitely concludes that the whole cosmic manifestation and its different features are effects of different energies of the Lord. Thus, he has a clear conception of the whole material nature and the total material energy. And in every action, such a devotee sees me only and nothing else.
My dear Shrutadeva, you may therefore accept all these great saintly persons, Brahmanas and sages as my bona fide representatives. By worship, they faithfully you will be worshipping me more diligently. I consider my worship of my devotees, accept such worship
Consider worship of my devotees to be
better than direct worship of me. If someone attempts to worship me, accept such worships, even though it may be presented with great opulence.
If someone attempts to worship me directly,
If someone attempts to worship me directly without worshipping my devotees, I do not accept such worship, even though it may be presented with great opulence.
you can continue if you want. This paragraph.
You do one more.
Very good.
He's afraid of making mistakes, but actually you're very good.
Yeah.
Because you're nervous and your pronunciation is actually very nice. So if you're not cool, there's no problem. Alright? And then keep your finger to the beginning of the line, but for the rest you're doing good.
Thank you. In this way, both the Brahman Shrutadeva and the king of Mithila, under the direction of the Lord, worshipped both Krishna and his followers, the great sages and saintly Brahmana, on an equal level of spiritual importance. Both Brahman and king ultimately achieved the supreme goal of being transferred to the spiritual world. The devotee does not know anyone except Lord Krishna, and Krishna is most affectionate to his devotee. Lord Krishna remained in Mithila both at the house of the Brahman Shrutadeva and at the palace of King Bahulashva. And after favoring him lavishly by his transcendental instructions, he went back to his capital city, Dvaraka. The instruction we receive from this incident is that King Bahulashva and Shrutadeva, the Brahman, were accepted by the Lord on the same level because both were pure devotees. This is the real qualification for being recognized by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because it has become the fashion of his age to be falsely proud of having taken birth in the family of Kshatriya or Brahman. We see persons without any qualification other than birth claiming to be a Brahman or Kshatriya or Vaishya. But as stated in the scriptures, Kalau Sudra Sambhava, in this age of Kali, everyone is born a Sudra. This is because there is no performance of the purificatory processes known as samskaras, which begin from the time of the mother's pregnancy and continue up to the point of the individual's death. No one can be classified as a member of a particular caste, especially of a higher caste, Brahman, Kshatriya or Vaishya, simply by birthright. If one is not purified by the process of the seed-giving ceremony or Gavadana Samskara, he is immediately classified among the Sudras because only the Sudras do not undergo this purificatory process. Sex life without the purificatory process of Krishna consciousness is merely the seed-giving process of the Sudras or the animals. Krishna consciousness is therefore the best process of purification. By this process, everyone can come to the platform of a Vaishnav, which includes having all the qualifications of a Brahman. The Vaishnav are trained to become freed from the 4 kinds of sinful activities: illicit sex, indulgence in intoxicants, gambling and eating animal foods. One cannot be on the Brahmanical platform without having these preliminary qualifications, and without becoming a qualified Brahman, one cannot become a pure devotee. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 86th chapter of Krishna, the kidnapping of Sudadra, and Lord Krishna's visiting Shrutadeva and Bahulashva.
Very good. King Parikshit inquired from Shukadeva Goswami about a very important topic in understanding transcendental subject matter. His question was, since Vedic knowledge generally deals with the subject matter of the three qualities of the material world, how then can it approach the subject matter of transcendence, which is beyond the approach of the three material modes? Good question. Since the mind is material and the vibration of words is a material sound, how can the Vedic knowledge expressing by material sound the thoughts of the material mind approach transcendence? Description of a subject matter necessitates describing its source of emanation, its qualities and its activities. Such description can be possible only by thinking with the material mind and by vibrating material words. Brahman, or the Absolute Truth, has no material qualities, but our power of speaking does not go beyond the material qualities. How then can Brahman, the Absolute Truth, be described by your words? I do not see how it is possible to understand transcendence from such expressions of material sounds. This is prayers by the personified Vedas. It's the chapter. The purpose of King Parikshit's inquiry was to ascertain from Shukadeva Goswami whether the Vedas ultimately describe the Absolute Truth as impersonal or personal. Understanding of the Absolute Truth progresses in three features: personal Brahman, Paramatma localized in everyone's heart, and at last the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna.
The Vedas deal with three departments of activities. One is called Karma Kanda, or activities under the Vedic injunctions, which gradually purify one to understand his real position. The next is Jnana Kanda, the process of understanding the Absolute Truth by speculative methods. And the third is the Upasana Kanda, or worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and sometimes of the demigods also. The worship of the demigods recommended in the Vedas is ordered with the understanding of the demigods' relationship to the personality of Godhead. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has many parts and parcels, and some are called samsas, or his personal expansions, and some are called vibhinamsas, the living entities. All such expansions, both samsas and vibhinamsas, are emanations from the original personality of Godhead. Samsa expansions are called Vishnu Tattva, whereas the vibhinamsa expansions are called Jiva Tattva. The different demigods are Jiva Tattva. The conditioned souls are generally put into the activities of the material world for sense gratification. Therefore, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, to regulate those who are very much addicted to different kinds of sense gratification, the worship of demigods is sometimes recommended. For example, for persons very much addicted to meat eating, the Vedic injunction recommends that after worshipping the form of goddess Kali and sacrificing a goat, not any other animal, under Karma Kanda regulation, the worshippers may be allowed to eat meat. The idea is not to encourage one to eat meat, but to allow one who insists on eating meat to eat it under certain restricted conditions. Therefore, worship of the demigods is not worship of the Absolute Truth, but by worshipping the demigods one gradually comes to accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead in an indirect way. This indirect acceptance is described in the Bhagavad Gita as avidhi. Avidhi means not bona fide. Since demigod worship is not bona fide, the impersonal stress concentration on the impersonal feature of the Absolute Truth. King Parikshit's question was, which is the ultimate target of the Vedic knowledge? This concentration on the impersonal feature of the Absolute Truth, or concentration on the personal feature? After all, both the impersonal and the personal feature of the Supreme Lord are beyond our material conception. The impersonal feature of the Absolute, the Brahman effulgence, is but the rays of the personal body of Krishna. These rays of the personal body of Krishna are cast all over the creation of the Lord, and the portion of the effulgence which is covered by the material cloud is called the created cosmos of the three material qualities, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. How can persons who are within this clouded portion, called the material world, conceive of the absolute truth by speculative method? Good question. A little bit difficult, isn't it? If you can imagine the sun, can you imagine the sun? You can. Sun. That's easy. Sunshine. Everybody can imagine. So the sunshine comes from the sun, but it's not the same as the sun. If the sun would be here, it would be a little bit different than the sunshine. Still, without the sun, no sunshine. So you could say the sun is the origin, is the person, the personal form, the origin. And the sunshine is something that comes from him. It emanates from the sunshine. His energy, heat, fire, light, things like that. So that's the Brahman effulgence of Krishna, is all this consciousness and all these different energies emanating from Krishna. And then some places it's a little bit obscured by the clouds, like the sunshine sometimes. So we are under some of these clouds, and then you get the material world with clouded consciousness. So we like to become unclouded again, so we can have consciousness directly in contact with Krishna again. You know? And some people think, oh, the sunshine, that must be everything. But actually, it's just a part of God consciousness. Because he is actually also a person which emanates all these original energies. So, if you see it like that, everything is easy. But some people insist, no, it's the energy and make this whole thing, and make it very difficult. You have all kinds of difficult formulas to arrive at the origin, and then actually it always in the end goes a little bit like, no, that's not completely right. You have big discussions, and then, like that. And why is it not like that? Because it's not really the origin. And like light, you have many different kinds of light, and you can have all kinds of discussions, and then you actually get lost in the discussions, you see. So if you just go for the energy, you'll never be happy. If you take the whole package, you take Krishna with it, then you will be happy. You have and the light and Krishna. So that's basically what they try to say here.
So we can enjoy the sunshine, but we need the sun.
Well, you don't have to enjoy it. that's this enjoying mood, this consuming mood. We're actually Krishna's servants. And the funny part is, in this world, if you serve somebody, you always have this ring of like, oh, you have to surrender. I won't be happy, because you like to lord it over. That's why this, this what the cloud is doing to us. You think, oh, we are God, we can do it. And actually, by trying to lord it over, you become unhappy. So actually, it's by becoming a servant, you become happy. But you have to serve the right person. So who is this person we have to learn how to serve? Somebody has some idea?
Krishna.
Yeah, his name is on the front of the book. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's such a nice father. He takes care of all living entities. You see? Even the ones which are a little bit naughty like we are. So he takes care of all these living entities. So if you learn actually to serve him, then you will actually enjoy the most. That's actually how it works. You see, because he's the source of happiness, he's the source of knowledge. So many energies come from him. See, without him there's no life even. So how can we imagine to live actually without him? So we can connect with him, we become very happy.
Here's some question.
You have a question? Okay. So.
Actually, it's like Krishna is the main source to all of us.
Yes. It was said here that Krishna had different kinds of things emanating from him, and some were Jiva Tattva, some were Swamsas, and other were Vibhanamsas, and what was the other? Swamsas. So one is Krishna directly emanating himself, and some are parts and parcels, like we are, which are I have the same quality like he has, but in a very, very small amount. Like the drop of an ocean. You can take, from the sea you can take a drop. It's also water, it's also salty, but you won't find a fish inside. That's for the sea, and even bigger the ocean, something like that. So that's how it works. Oh, we went over time. Oh. I think Krishna allowed it this time because the people from the bhajan are late. So basically a little bit, so this is a little bit about Krishna consciousness, and you'll find in the Bhagavad Gita a lot of descriptions of Krishna saying, I'm this, I'm that, and through those descriptions you actually see Krishna more and more all around you. And devotees who practice that see him more and more and more, and sometimes, oh, you remembered, oh, and the Bhagavad Gita says he's the taste of water. So every time you drink some water, or you drink something, Krishna is the taste of water. He's the original fragrance of the earth. So if you smell something, you know the original smell of everything actually comes from Krishna. You see, the light of the sun. So every time you can actually remember, oh, now I can see it. I've turned on the light, it's a form of sunlight. Okay, so he's the origin of that energy. So little by little, you start to see more and more that Krishna is helping you in so many ways and makes so much connections with you. And it becomes more and more clear, and when you start to try and do your best to make that connection, Krishna will help you from the inside and from the outside with books, or you meet people, like that. And like in Radhadesh, there's many people who are actually very advanced. Sometimes in the morning there's very nice classes. In the evening it's a little bit less. This morning was Urmila. She's very advanced devotee, and she gives very nice classes. If you hear that, it's really like you come out like your heart is singing, something like that. It's really good. So thank you for coming and visiting. All glories to the one who actually light up our light and gave us the Krishna book, Srila Prabhupada, and Krishna book ki jai. All right. You went full circle. You didn't read. Next time you will read also. Thank you.
She mixes German.
It's good, sometimes you don't feel like it, you're a little shy. It's actually a good sign. Next time she will be more confident. Hare Krsna, Hare Krsna, Krishna Krishna. Because we also read today that if you worship him directly, he's not so much interested, because that is actually a form of like like that. But if you understand that you serve Krishna, he will help you to learn how to serve. Because he knows how to do that, because he learns from his spiritual master, and it shows that kind of humility, which is the first step in really learning something. You think, oh, I know how I'm going to serve Krishna. It's like yes? But he likes it. He likes it even more if you do it through the book. Yeah? Who else is there?
You're the only one who can sing here, so. I know, okay. But I'm not good enough. Because it's like really basic. Alright.
Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Radha Gopinath ki
Sarah, I'll show you.